What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from Zoom again, and this time on the phone we got Mappe of the almighty Candlemass. Thank you so much for being here. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for being there, man. Thank you very much.
Anytime, man. Anytime. It's so awesome to have you here. Thank you for giving us new music to conclude this epic year with. We got Sweet Evil Son coming out November 18th. Was the intention of this album just to pick up where you left off after The Door to Doom, or was this meant to be kind of like a new beginning for Candlemass in a way?
I think it was just to take it further from Door to Doom. I mean, Door to Doom was an album that we were so fucking proud of. I mean, Johan came in there in the last minute, and we wanted him back in Candlemass for many, many years. So that was something that just happened he had 2 weeks to re-record the album. And now it was like, now we can do a proper album with him to work together for 1 year, you know. And it's been a perfect time to do that in the COVID times, to have the time and to actually do the album. I mean, the COVID times is not good for anybody, but it was like a good moment to work with him and to do it together with him. And I think it sounds that he's in the band. He's a proper member. I think it sounds that way. And what you say is like, it was very hard to take Door to Doom further because we have Tony Iommi there as a special guest. We had a Grammy Award thing in America, nomination. But it was a very big thing for us. Very, very big thing for us. So it was hard to see what can we come up with to do something special after Door to Doom. But I think we were very proud of the album. We were very proud of it. And we think we can stand up for it. It's Candlemass 2022, for sure.
Definitely. Do you feel like the first two singles that you released, Scandinavian Gods and the title track, Sweet Evil Son, is a good representation of what Sweet Evil Son will sound like, or is that just the tip of the iceberg and there's a lot more to be discovered and you're showing sides of Candlemass maybe we never heard before?
Yes, lots of things you never heard before on the album. Scandinavian Gods was actually something that was a song that should be an extra thing for a single or something. There wasn't even planned to be on the album. There wasn't planned to be a song on the album. So we sent it to a record company, and when they heard that, this is going to be the first single, and we were like, okay, what how should we do this? Then, yeah, it's going to be on the album, and that wasn't supposed to be on the album. So therefore, I would say, but it came up very good, you know. Came out very good. I think it's stand up. It's a total different thing for a Candlemass fan to hear that one. But lots of people and almost everybody think it's very, very good, you know. It's like a take on the word from Judas Priest British Steel album. I mean that don't say so much of the whole album with British Steel, but it says that it's a good song, of course. But Sweet Evil Son is standing up more for what the album is sounding like.
Definitely.
It's yeah, it does, and it have more. And then when the album coming out, people are gonna see how the album actually is. That's a Candlemass album 2022. It is 100% for that one. But Scandinavian Gods was a long shot, but the record company wanted that, and we saw the opportunity to just do something that tease people a little bit. Somebody came like, oh, this is not sounding Candlemass. Yeah, but you haven't heard the album yet. So it's a good thing to start with. It was a good thing to start with, yes.
Has Candlemass always started off the songwriting process with the preconceived vision? Like, do you always go into either the studio or songwriting mode with like a vision in a way, or is the songwriting process very experimental and improvisational?
It's like Leif is doing all the songs in Candlemass. He's done that from the beginning since me and him was doing Epicus, you know. And then it's a thing that we have, that he's a songwriter when it comes to doing songs and doing lyrics and stuff. But he's not the dictator who's just doing like, who's going to do this, so we're going to do this. He's coming up with ideas, and his songs. But he comes up with ideas, and we go rehearsing place, and we listen to it at home and wherever you rehearse it, and you do your own style of riffs on his songs. So we work together, but it's still his songs. but we done the same thing for 37 years. So it's not something that we are. We should say like Leif is doing the songs for Candlemass. Otherwise, it's not gonna sound like Candlemass.
Mm-hmm.
And we go for that. But we still rehearse it together. We rehearse it together.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't think that riff is something I like, he's very keen on having we do it together. Everybody must like what we do when we go in the studio to record stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's not like we're playing things that we don't like. No way. We work it together. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
but
funny.
He's a songwriter.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, actually, because this is like a new question I've been asking a lot of artists. Is it really better if everybody in the band is feeling the same way about a song, and if it really is on the same page? Or, we are all individuals, we are all different artists. Could maybe having different visions or different ideas or feeling emotionally different about different songs actually help maybe enhance the songwriting process in a way?
Yeah, I think everybody's a piece of a puzzle, in the band. I think it's the same if you're a hockey team or if you're a football team. I think it's very, very important that you have your part in a band, or you have your part in. If it comes to songwriting, in our band, it's like he's doing the songs and we do it together, right? But when it comes to play it, I don't know exactly to do the rhythm guitar parts, how it should sound like Candlemass. Lars is doing his solo parts, and he's an amazing solo guitarist. I wouldn't even go in to play solo in Candlemass. I just do the rhythm. Same with the drummer, Yanni, he's doing the drums. Everybody do their parts. It's the same with the hockey team. You can't be forward in a hockey team and try to go back and try. Then you're not going to do any goals,
Yeah.
If you're playing in the back line of a hockey team, you can't go up and try to get to goals, because then there's going to be very, very much goals in an opposite way. It's like it's a team. You have to be a team. It's a piece of a puzzle. Everybody has their own piece in the band to do it together, like a 5-piece band. And there's no competition anyway. Mm-hmm. Never.
Definitely. Now, one album I actually wanted to talk about is because this year does mark 10 years of Psalms for the Dead, which really, when you released that album in 2012, that was the biggest gap between albums since we heard The Door to Doom. And I think, from the success you said with The Door to Doom, I think that's one hell of a, lack of better words, a comeback album. What was the sort of thought process behind Psalms of the Dead in a way? Did you and the rest of the members know that was going to be the last Candlemass album for a while in a way, or was it just a really long record cycle and you all intended to sort of take a break?
Yeah, actually we talked about that when we did Songs of the Dead, that maybe this is the last Candlemass album. We talked about it. We parted company with Robert Lowe, and we don't we are still friends, so it's not like that. But we talked about that this is going to be maybe the last Candlemass album. Yes, we did that. Because when we did a reunion in 2001, and that was a reunion. And the reunion was just for one show and no albums. It was just Sweden Rock show in Sweden and maybe Wacken in maybe 2 shows or whatever. And then it came up more shows, and it was very popular. They remastered the CDs and everything for us, the old stuff. And then it came up with one more album. And then we have actually done albums since 2001. We've been more around since we reunited in 2001. We are 2022 now.
Yeah.
So when Songs for the Dead come, every album, from the White Album, from King of Grey Island, from all the albums, it's been like, maybe this is the last Candlemass album. This is the last one. So Songs for the Dead. But then it came up ideas and stuff, and The Door to Doom was. They've had good song ideas, and we said we go for it. And when it came to that one, it went so popular with the Grammy Award in America and everything that happened to us. It was like, so now we are. I would say we've never been so proud of Candlemass, never in our career that we are now, never.
Yeah.
So there we worked on the new album for 1 year, and we really wanted that to be Candlemass album 2022, and I like to say that if you don't like this one, you don't like Candlemass.
Yeah. I totally know what you mean. But when you go back to Psalms for the Dead, you're right. Like, I felt like that had a similar vibe, too, from the 13th Son, in a way, because there was a long gap between albums, between both of those albums. So it did almost kind of have, like, an essence of, like, an uncertain vibe behind it that I thought added to the cinematic qualities of those particular albums.
Yeah. So the Sun was something that Leif did by his own. He was more like he was his with his own. He didn't do at that time. He was Candlemass by himself a little bit, and we reunited after that. And the Songs for the Dead is more like, and we put much keyboards and stuff in it to do it like to put Candlemass in a new. Of course, we wanted it to sound Candlemass. We always do. We don't take things like we're gonna do the songs now for be radio friendly or whatever. We don't do that. We never done it. But Songs for Dead came in, and we always want to force Candlemass in a new direction. It's very important for us to not go back and say you should do an album like Epicus and Nightfall again. No way, we don't do that. But Songs for Dead came with lots of keyboards and stuff, but it turned out very well. But it did actually. But then Mats was the singer after that, and we have Rob was the singer on the album, but he wasn't the singer on the live performances. Since there was a gap between the career there a little bit. With Mats was singing live, but Rob was singing on the record, and it was like people didn't even know what was going on right here. So, but when Johan came back now, it was more like, okay, now the circle is closed a little bit, that Johan is back, and we can do Candlemass albums that he actually can do live as well.
Mm-hmm. I also gotta ask this, because being that you have so many albums out now, does it get harder to put a set list together when you're playing live? Because I'd imagine you have those diehard fans who really want to hear like those deep cut demos predating Epicus in a way, or like a deep cut from like Tales of Creation or Nightfall or something like that. I'd imagine with every album it becomes harder to put a set list together for a live show, right?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because we talked about it all the time. That's actually so hard. And the thing is exactly what you say. It's like we have to play some songs from the new album, but we still have to play so many classics. We have to do that. But when you take one classic off the set, like Gallows End, for example, we took that off. And why don't you play Gallows End? Because we have to play Samaritan, because everybody asked for Samaritan. Okay, then we take Samaritan out. And they'll be, why don't you play Samaritan? Because we have to take Gallows End in. We have a huge problem. It's a luxury problem. I would say it's a luxury problem to have so many good albums from the 80s that people still want to hear. New generations want to hear, wasn't even born when did those albums. So that's for sure. That's a luxury problem, but it is a big problem. It's from Tales of Creation as well. We have lots of songs from that one, and that we would like to play. But when we do the set list, like, oh shit, can we really take this one out? Yeah, but we have to take this one in. But okay, but then it's over 90 minutes. What should we do now? No, it's always that problem. Every time it's those problems. Every time.
Yeah, but
of course, therefore we did those two shows in Stockholm 2 years ago, when we did like one evening was just Epicus and one evening was just Nightfall. That's what we did, because then we could sell the tickets for you're gonna hear the whole Epicus album with some other songs, but the Epicus was the sell point, and then we had Nightfall as a sell point in other day. So then people know what they're gonna hear. But when you do a best of set, it's like. It's so hard to decide what songs you're gonna play. It's hard. Yeah.
But it's a damn good problem to have, especially because you have a lot of younger fans who are getting on board. Like, I'll just be honest, Psalms for the Dead was my first Candlemass album, and I know plenty of people who like discovered Candlemass from the 2005 self-titled album. So, and I know with how great this new Sweet Evil Son album is, you're gonna get a whole new generation of fans inspired by this too. So it's definitely a good problem to have. Maybe you can play a show and market it. Okay, this show is for the younger fans who discovered us in 2012. This is for the fans who discovered us in 2005. This is for the fans who discovered us in the 80s.
Yeah. We could do that. We could actually, really, we could do that. The thing is, we talk about it all the time. It was the same. We played Mexico now a couple of weeks ago, and we played a Swedish gig the week after. And I say, when I see the front line, it's always like this. Now, the front line is girls and guys standing there, and they sing along to like the whole Epicus album, all the fucking songs, and from Nightfall, and they wasn't even born when we did those albums. And that's the best honor you can have as a band.
Yeah.
That's the best. In my heart, when I go off stage, it's like I get goosebumps to see those people singing along to those songs who actually we did when they wasn't even born. Like exactly what you say. It's exactly what you say now. And I think if I see it to a whole audience, it's like 90% of the people wasn't listened to Epicus when it came out. No fucking way.
Yeah.
They're not 60 years old people standing there watching us.
Yeah.
Some of them, yes, we have some old school fans from Candlemass, but it's not the main audience we have there that wasn't listening to us. That was listening to us at that time. No fucking way. It's a new audience. If you listen to some people come to me and say, the first album I have, it was Tales of Creation, and I think that's like okay. That's a new album. No, not a new album. It was 1989.
Before I was born.
For me, when you were born, you see what I say.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, it was the first album. I was 12 years old when I heard Tales of Creation. Oh shit! I said, this is unbelievable. And now people coming there, like you said to me now, this first album was Sound for the Dead.
Yeah. So
it's fantastic to hear that. That's the best fucking honor you can have. It's almost that we soon have the third generation of people listening to Candlemass.
And I think that's great. And you know, and be honest with your fans. If you have like a 15-year-old kid saying, "I've been a fan of you guys since back in the day, since the Epicus days," you got to be like, "No, that's not true, kid." But like,
no, that's not true. That's not true. Then.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when those guys and girls singing along to the songs that we made when they wasn't even born, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But we can still have those albums going around, and I mean, Epicus was voted like the second best doom metal album after Sabbath Bloody Sabbath in an American magazine a year ago or something. That was something that blew me away.
Yeah. And nobody was calling Black Sabbath doom metal when they first started, so in the end you could almost consider that to be the best doom metal album, because I feel like Candlemass really sort of codified that title.
Yes, that's a good thing that you say that, because I had another interview and I talked to guys. It was no doom metal, no thrash metal, no black metal. It was just hard rock.
Yeah.
Everything was hard rock at that time when the Sabbath album came.
Yeah.
So of course, and we didn't put the doom metal stamp on our music. There was other people who did that, and then it came out like we were the band together with Trouble, of course, and all those bands at that time to do the doom metal thing. So I'm very, very, very proud of that. Very proud of that.
I wanted to ask you about that, actually, because I have two more questions for you, and this is one of them. Because how do you define doom metal in a way? Because Catatonia is considered doom metal, and you guys sound nothing like them with bands like Paradise Lost or My Dying Bride. You guys don't really sound a lot like Yob, which is considered to be doom metal. Like, aside from having songs that are, usually 27.5 minutes, what exactly makes a doom metal band in a way? Aside, obviously it has a mood behind it, but in terms of sound, I don't really see elements that really tie all the bands that are labeled doom together necessarily.
No, I think the doom metal thing came when we did Epicus, and we started at that time, 86, because there was no bands that playing that slow, Of course, Black Sabbath had done it before, and we had Saint Vitus, we had Trouble, we had the band, those bands. It was not that many bands. It was only like us who did that. And the thing was, then the thrash metal scene came, the speed metal thing came, all those bands were playing fast, and I think the black metal scene hasn't come. That come in the 90s, but those speed metal and thrash metal bands came, and we played festivals with them. You know, there was no other places to put us. We played the Dynamo in '88. It was with Exodus, and I don't know if Slayer was there, but those bands was very very fast. You know, and we were very slow. If you compared it to those bands who went popular at that time, it was a totally different scene for Candlemass to do like Demon's Gate, Solitude, all those songs at that time.
Yeah.
And then it came. We did something very very unique for that time. If you listen to that album today, it's not a doom metal album. Of course, it's not. I mean, you see the doom metal bands today; they're playing so slow, so you can't. You almost fall asleep, you know. and I cannot. Yeah, but it's cool. I like it. But we still are the influences for them.
Definitely.
So I think the doom metal scene came. If you put Candlemass as a pioneers for the doom metal, it's because we were in this together with those bands who played fast.
Absolutely.
It is something what you say, different when you compare it to them.
Yeah.
So then the doom metal scene came, and it goes Epicus, Doom, Epicus, Metallicus, went doom metal, yeah, you know. And I don't see us as today when you see the Sweet in the Sun. Of course, it's heavy riffs, but it's not like if you compare to doom metal today. We are a metal band that's heavy, but it's of course it's heavy Black Sabbath riffs and stuff on it. But it's not the doom metal when you see to the doom metal bands that are real doom metal bands today. But we still are pioneers. We come into festivals with the doom metal festival with all those bands who's playing very very slow. They are like, Candlemass, you are the kings of doom metal. Yeah. I think it's just because we started the scene a little bit in what other bands were playing at that time.
Definitely. And the final question I wanted to ask is circling back to the Candlemass songwriting process, because in the end, this music is very cathartic. It really relates to a lot of fans through the darkness that we feel inside. And I know that you and every member of Candlemass is able to really bring in that darkness and create art out of it. It's a really cathartic experience, but when you have darkness and agony and despair and pain as your sort of main focal point for the songwriting process, does that also maybe make the songwriting process a little deteriorating or somewhat painful as well?
No, that's a good question, but I think we just do it. I think it's in our veins, you know, or something that we've done it for so many years. We like that kind of stuff, but I think we're more like we just do it. It comes, you know, like something that's in our blood, you know. We're not dark people. We're not evil people. We're not. We are actually very happy doom people, I would like to say. But we love that kind of when we do the songs and we write the songs and we do it together. It's more like that I think it's something that you come around your normal life a little bit, you know. You have your family life. We are almost 60, everybody right now. And we have our life and children and grandchildren and everything. And I think you come around everything and you do something that you've done for so many years. I feel like I'm 80 years old again when I do Candlemass songs in the rehearsal place.
That's awesome.
Because of that. I think it's something that you just feel that then you're there and you do that thing. But it's not the kind of person you are in your private life.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, totally understandable. And, I think in the end, art is an escapism as well. It's a way of confronting your demons. It's a way of escaping your demons. It's a way of making peace with your demons. So I think in the end, Candlemass is just Candlemass. And I've also noticed this too. Every band that has that doom metal label, I've done thousands of interviews, always the friendliest. I've interviewed Paradise Lost, super genuinely nice guys. The Yob guys are super nice. I think the more depressing the music is, the nicer everybody is.
Yeah, it's actually what you said. Somebody said that to me. I met somebody. Oh, you're not that depressive I see on stage. You're not that kind. You're the same person, you know. No, I am the same person. I am exactly the same person. But some people who don't know you, they think there are exactly what you say, that it should be something aggressive and stuff. No, that's not the attitude. It's totally opposite.
Yeah,
Totally opposite.
of course. So before we
But
go,
I love it. I love to be 18 years. I love to be that 20-year-old guy to do that doom metal thing and be in the rehearsing place. I love it. I love it. It's makes me so much energy to do that.
yeah,
It's fantastic.
and I'd imagine too when you play like Epicus songs versus like from the 13th Sun songs or Tales of Creation songs, it probably just puts you back into the mindset of who you were at that particular time, right? Like a snapshot.
Yeah, of course. When I play Solitude live, it's like, shit, this is not happening. It's what I did 37 years ago, and the new generation standing there singing along to it. It's amazing. That's something I really don't want to have that. I really want to have that all the rest of my life. Yeah.
Definitely, and we want it too. But before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Just before we go, with Sweet Evil Sun coming out November 18th, is there just anything else with Candlemass that you would like to promote in terms of tours, or what could we be expecting from Candlemass in the future, if you're, of course, allowed to say at this time?
Yeah. We're planning on doing so many gigs we can, 2023. But the thing is, there's so many things booked in festivals and stuff because of after the COVID thing. The bands that were booked 2 years ago, they are on the festivals now. But Sweet Evil Sun, that we want to do is like to promote it as well as we can, and we got so much great response from it so far. Really, for sure, it's like beyond everything we could imagine. So of course we're going to promote as well as we can. We would like to go to America and Europe and every places, So gigs, it's going to be lots of concerts. But I don't know how many songs we're going to play from the new album because, like you said, we have a good back catalog, but that we have to concentrate on as well,
Yeah.
But of course, we're going to play songs from the new album, of course.
Play a 10-hour set. Just play every album in full, and then everybody's happy.
yeah, exactly. It will be that. Yeah. That's the only thing we can do right now.
Yeah, I mean, all your fans will be happy. I don't know if all the members of Candlemass would be very happy with dealing with that. But
I will be happy. I can do it. I will be tired after it, but I'll be happy to do it.
Yeah,
I promise.
Yeah.
I will be happy.
Yeah, just bring plenty of drinks on stage. But thank you so much.
Yeah. Promise. Yeah. Thank you very much, my friend. It was great to talk to you. Fantastic interview.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, man. It was great to talk with you as well.
Thank you very much.
Everybody, we are here with Candlemass. Be sure to check out Sweet Evil Sun, coming out November 18th. We will see you next time on Heavy New York.